from the moment that I fell in love with birds. Since I was a little boy, my father had a library here with different books. He had a book of animals, and that was a book that interested me. When I studied at the University of Miami, I had a scholarship for tennis, not for science. Oscar Aury, he was a famous ornithologist over there, that he involved me in interesting in birds. I had to come to Cuba for a short visit of vacations. So he told me if I could take for him, for his collection at the university, one specimen of the endemic Cuban toady. So of course I collected that very easy. I took it to him. He mentioned he's not a Cuban toady, he's a Cuban tortee. He said, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know about it. So I began to get involved since then completely in birds. 1961, when the Cuban National History Museum was founded, I was involved in the collection to prepare for the museum. Then practically I gave up international tennis tournament, not only because of that, but because my father died in 1962. 1962 came to Cuba Grant Gibson and another writer, Margaret Epsom. Since they were bird watchers, they requested to go to the field. So I went with them to Zapata only for one day, but we had a very successful day. We saw 103 birds. A group of North American, 15 of them, they were actually botanists, but those botanists were bird watchers as well. So a group of 16 of those came to Cuba in 1979. I was the first group, and it was a big success. I like all the birds as well, but the one I have more in particular like it is the Cuban gavilan colilargo. It is because before I was collecting birds, Thomas Barbour, the famous ornithologist and herpetologist from Harvard University, had written a book, A Naturalist in Cuba. In that book, he mentioned that the gavilan colilargo was one of the most rare birds in the world. So, of course, when I first saw, we had not collected any, and we had no birds seen it here before we started the collection of the museum. But Carpintero Real is the most famous because it is on the verge of extinction, and so far we don't know if it's extinct or not. I'm pretty sure that he still exists. I had the fortune to see it in 1957. When I went to Oriental area on an expedition with the German Humboldt expedition. 10 years after, a group of entomologists that were in the area, knowing where led the area, when I saw it, went to the place and saw the bird. With another colleague, I'm making a revision of the Cuban Paloma perdiz that, in fact, I found it a specimen in the American Museum of New York among the collections they had there of Cuba, and I found it in Key West, Florida. And I noticed that the specimen from Key West was different from the Cuban one. That's going to be a big shock, because I'm pretty sure that American ornithology will be very interesting after the paper is published, go to the American Museum to see that new species. I could be in any museums in the States, and especially at the University of Miami when I had a scholarship, but I had a depth with the science, with the Cuban scientific work. I had the vision how many things would have to be done in Cuba, and I began to do that, and I'm still keeping doing that so far. Now with the hutillas and the birds and reptiles. I hope some of the people in the States, the bird watchers, will be interested to come to my house to know about birds.